Welcome to the Oceans and Society podcast number 20. If you live inside Aberdeen, you should have heard about the company named Abergreen Clean Energy and their newest project. They have developed a product based on an enzyme which is produced by a bacterium obtained by black smoker hydrothermal vent in the mid-Atlantic. It is a huge breakthrough in the field of clean and cheap energy since it turns waste agricultural material straight to biodiesel. But the debate emerges as the company doesn't create the enzyme, they exploit it in the sea beyond national jurisdiction. Today I have here with me a researcher from the UK Minister for Oceans, Sue Finister, who has a meeting in the UK next week about this situation. It's great to have you here to give us an insight into what is going on. As the debate about who owns the discovery continues, whether it's ACE, which is the discoverers, or the UK government, who provided the submersible, or the International Seabed Authority, who are the guardians of the ocean floor, could you share with us your personal view on this issue?
Hi, it's great to be here with you. That is indeed a complex question, but in my opinion, since the government only rented the submarine to ACE, they do not have a say in the discovery. Government do not have an exploration contract to the discovery, but ACE will have, so they are able to claim that the discovery is theirs. Technically, IESA cannot claim because it's not a mineral, it is an enzyme.
That is an interesting point of view. How about the status and validity of ACE's international patent portfolio? Do you believe that it's possible for ACE to register for a patent?
It's not easy to say exactly, since we're in a complicated situation. ACE needs a nature-based patent, and the resource it needed is beyond national jurisdiction, but there is still a legal gap in this area. It depends on the sea area where they found the enzyme. If it is in a water column, the high sea, based on UNCLOS, the high seas are open to all states in accordance with the freedom of the high seas, which includes navigation, overflight, fishing, scientific research, laying of submarine cables and pipelines, and construction of artificial islands and other installations permitted under international law. Because UNCLOS doesn't refer to genetic resources, ACE can still argue that the enzyme they need belongs to this high seas freedom. If this is the area, the deep seabed, it goes with different rules. The exploiting of the enzyme has to be for the benefit of mankind as a whole, but based on UNCLOS it only applies for mineral and mining. UNCLOS doesn't consider the exploiting of genetic resources, hence it's still possible for ACE to register for a patent. Currently, there is a preparatory committee to develop a legally binding instrument on the conservation and sustainable use of marine biological diversity in areas beyond the national jurisdiction, but the paper is still in drafting process, so at the moment there is another view for the ACE patent status. A patent application could take years to be approved and granted. In the case of ACE, they released the news about the research before applying for a patent. They could lose the possibility of being granted a patent. But there is another way for ACE to protect their invention. As their research is complex, it's not easy for other companies to duplicate it. Hence, they can consider using confidentiality agreements to keep secret about their invention. For the final product, they can register for a trademark.
Without a doubt, this is very important for the discovery of all mankind. Is there any way that the company can still use the discovery while staying within the current version of UNCLOS?
UNCLOS said, no state shall claim sovereignty over any part of the area or its resources, but the current UNCLOS only states the resources as all solid, liquid, and gaseous mineral resources. That means ACE can still use its discovery because it required genetic resources only.
So how a part of ACE's profits should be returned to the International Seabed Authority, and how should this fund be managed, which is a potentially multi-billion-pound fund?
In my opinion, some small portion of the profit should go to the International Seabed Authority, as they have all access to samples taken off the seafloor. Under UNCLOS, it says any research that is done on the seabed has to share their findings. In this statement as well, it underlines that any equity or profit made from this research also has to be shared, so that the author and UNCLOS can keep going and the seabed can be managed better. Technically, the company doesn't have to pay because UNCLOS doesn't state clearly about genetic resources, but a mutual agreement is suggested to seek further support from IESA to control the possible damage of the seabed while exploiting for sustainable management. Part of ACE's profits made by this discovery should be used to help make it easier to discover more minerals like the enzyme found. They should also put towards the ISA and helping them keep the ocean floor in a pristine condition, and also the damages the ACE has caused retrieving the enzyme. And then, when they can have mutual agreement about what happens when the patent expires, ISA can take over the technology after that. The money can go towards ISA's endowment fund, where the fund will aid experienced scientists and technicians from developing countries to participate in deep-sea research, organized by international and national institutions. A campaign was launched in February 2008 to identify participants, establish a network of cooperating bodies, and seek outside funds to augment the initial $3 million endowment from the authority. However, an increase in cash would enable more scientists to research more seas and possibly discover more that could aid mankind. This initiative helps scientists by supporting participation of qualified scientists and technical personnel from developing countries in marine scientific research programs and activities, and by providing opportunities to these scientists to participate in relevant initiatives. The fund could be invested in other similar, smaller companies to help them grow and allow them to do the same as ACE and discover new materials that can be used for biofuel or even medicine, and enable more discoveries like this enzyme to help make life easier and with less environmental impacts. If the profits from the discovery are used in this way, investments will look after themselves as they are spent on employees and equipment, so managing it won't be as hands-on as just managing money. This could then enable ACE to grow as a company by buying and investing in the other smaller companies. In ISA side, when distribute the benefit, they should take into account the equality as well as the difference in technology advanced between developing countries and developed countries.
As you said before, there is still a gap in UNCLOS. Do you have any suggestions about how UNCLOS should be modified in the future to allow this type of discovery to be commercialized legally?
Due to the lack of genetic resources, in definition in UNCLOS, it creates ambiguity. Hence, UNCLOS needs to cover genetic resources as part of its resources. Moreover, UNCLOS should have protocols as a guidance for benefit sharing.
Thank you for your time. As my information has been updated, a preparatory committee is working in developing UNCLOS, and they're trying to fill in all the gaps. I hope that after the committee has completed their work, we wouldn't have to face the problem like the Abergreen case anymore. Now, this is the end of our podcast. Thank you for watching and see you next time.